Welcome back to Cinema Flicks Music Picks. I'm Davey, your host with the most, the beast with the least. Well, the least we can do today is catch up on what Neil Young's been up to. It's been a hot minute since he released something, so it's about time we caught up. And we've got something else coming out in, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks? Blimey. But let's crack on. Because this is not an archive release, this is the brand new record. Indeed, the world record. So Neil Young and Crazy Horse world record. So the last Crazy Horse album was Barn, which is one of the first videos I reviewed on here, and taught me a very important lesson. Unbox first, review later. Some people just want to see what they're buying. Get comments, you know. So produced by Neil and Rick Rubin, although there's no real signature Rick Rubin sound here, to be honest. It sounds like they just used his studio, which I think was the case. It sounds very much like a Neil Young record, and that's not in any way a criticism. God, I think I've reviewed enough Neil Young to let you know that's not a criticism. So here's your cover, with Neil Young's father Scott on the front, famous Canadian sports journalist. And a lovely gatefold of Neil and his mother. And your verse here. So it's taking on all the Neil Young Archives branding. It's rather nice. Yeah, so it's heavy duty there. But look, there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. Absolutely nothing. No, I have taking the contents out so that I'm not fumbling around on camera. So this is the exclusive clear vinyl edition that you only get from Neil Young's official store, Neil Young Archives, the Greedy Hand, whatever you want to call it. So we'll have a look at what it comes with. So first of all, it's 3 sides of vinyl, the way it works out. So one is an etched side to make up for side 4. So they come in polyline sleeves, which is always nice, very protective, and indeed, yeah, clear vinyl, the way the good Lord intended. So, yeah, it's an easy close up of the. If you do want to see a label, that's what we're getting across these. And then 3 and 4, I don't think you're going to be able to pick up terribly well here, because it's actually not very easy to see even in person. Let's see if I can get. Well, you can kind of get a little bit catching light there. Yeah. It's just the world. It's I wouldn't use this as an atlas personally. It's not terribly easy to see. I wouldn't want to navigate by it, but it is rather nice and it fits in thematically. I mean, the last one, Barn, was also a 3-sided LP, but that just used the Crazy Horse logo, which is a lovely logo. But this has got a thematic link, so I like that. A little bit of thought went into that there. So again, these clear vinyls, exclusive to Greedy Hand. Greasy Hand. That's me. Greedy Hand. Neil Young's official store. So just Google it. Greedy Hand. So it's a line from Greedy Hand. Razor Love from Silver and Gold, I want to say. But that's not all. Because they know that some people don't like the polylined, you know, they're comfortable with putting the records in regular sleeves. You do still get a couple of record bags if you want to just move your records into these. So one with that Antarctica, yeah, just the Arctic, with Neil's sister. And the other one, Neil's brother. Can't remember his name, but he recorded a single a couple of years ago that Neil produced that was on Neil's channel. Different shot of the world then. It's Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan. Say I know all the countries. And then you get a lyric book basically. So 32 pages of your lyrics, so nothing terribly fancy. It really is just what you think is going to be there, but lovely, high quality paper. Yeah, is what it is, does what it says in the tin. If you want to sing along, you may do so with this. So yeah, that's your contents for the album. So if you only came here to see what it looks like and you don't care about my opinion, and I don't blame you, then you can turn it off, with my best wishes and my thanks. If you want my thoughts on the album, first of all, it took a few days to get here, which is unusual. I normally get the Neil stuff sent quite early, but I did get the official download from Greedy Hand, which comes with every purchase. That did come, so I've been able to listen to it. Otherwise, this would be a terribly bad review if I haven't listened to the album yet. Maybe a bad review anyway. But it's given me the chance to work through it, because on first listen, I listened to it on a Friday morning, and I don't think that was the best place to listen to it. And I'll tell you when the best place was: a Sunday afternoon. But that makes it sound a little bit fey, perhaps. And no, it's just the mood I was in this particular Sunday. So we'll go through the tracks. So Love Earth starts with a little bit of studio chatter. Sounds very informal, but it's a very plain, low-key piano ballad, almost vaudevillian. I don't mean that in a comedy way, but vaudevillian in a kind of, it sounds a bit sing-along. Love Earth, you know, that kind of refrain is right through it, where you can sing along. Love Earth, and your love comes back to you. Love Earth, such an easy thing to do. Love Earth. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of continues in that vein. But it does have this one heavy part, and it's just them all kind of. It doesn't sound like drums. It sounds like they're just battering whatever they're in front of, like a desk or a table. So when Neil sings, till the water and the air is pure for the birds in the sky, boom, boom. But then it goes right back into the lover, which I don't know. Maybe I'm reading a bit much into it, but it kind of, you know, this incredibly out of place heavy part in the middle of a very beautiful, quiet little sing along. Maybe it's saying something about the way the environment is these days, because that's very much the concern of this record. How beauty can be destroyed by just a few moments of aggression, natural or indeed otherwise. Overhead is track 2, and that's a more ragged piano piece. So we're back on piano with Neil, but there's some harmonica on it which is distorted as hell, which sounds great. Backing vocals from the horse sound terrific, but there again, very well, ragged's the best word. It's always the best word for the horse when they're at that kind of level. But yeah, just ever so slightly off pitch, out of key, but just wonderful. There's a kind of pump organ middle 8 part where Neil hits his highest upper register, which is in his, what did he turn the other day, 77 was it? So he's not got the the same high register that he did 30 years ago, but it's still a lovely high register, and it's nice to hear him hitting that. You know, it just kind of gives him a vulnerability to kind of push that limit, and you can hear him doing so. Again, you've got a kind of call and response thing coming, so just like lovers, you know, you have the it's my life, it's my love, it's my day. So when he sings the it's my life, it's my life, the horse respond with it's my life. So, you know, it's another call and response kind of track, which quite a lot of this is. quite a lot of this very much is a sing-along in an odd way. It's a bit like those campfire videos that Neil made during lockdown, only with the horse in a strange way, in a very bizarre fashion. Very abrupt end for such a nice little track, but very abrupt end. Walk With You, Earth ringtone. I didn't like the name of that when I first heard with it. I didn't mind the Walk With You part, but Earth ringtone sounded a bit, what's that? Come on. It's going to have some cheesy effects to simulate an Earth. Yeah, what would the ringtone of Earth be like? No, it's a great song. It's my favourite song on the album. Really heavy distortion from the opening. But Nils Lofgren, still in Crazy Horse, plays some lovely dobro underneath it all. But Neil's guitar, so we have to separate Nils from Neil. But Neil Young's guitar is oddly pretty, even though he's playing his really jagged, heavy lines, his really messy and dark stuff. Oddly pretty in places, especially when you add on Nils Lofgren's, dobro underneath it. It gives it a different quality entirely, a different context. The section with everyone coming together to sing, again, perfect, absolutely wonderful. Nils Lofgren's got such a lovely voice too, and a higher voice that gives a different perspective once more to the horse. I hope Nils stays with Crazy Horse, because he has mentioned that he might have to depart because he's definitely going on tour with Springsteen, and Neil couldn't tell him if they were definitely touring because Neil's not sure if he wants to tour, if venues can be safe. And Neil's, he's not going to be a multi-millionaire, so he took the Springsteen gig. He's been with the E Street Band for a good 30 years, 35 years as well, so it makes sense. But I hope that at least in the studio that Mr. Lofgren can stick about. But yeah, see what Mickey Nelson's up to. He can come on tour maybe. I Walk With You. It leads into one of Neil's most offbeat solos in a while. Really jagged and unusual. Quite distinctively Neil, obviously, but very unusual even for Neil. It doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the song, but in a good way, a jarring way that intentionally wants to make you sit up and take notice. It's an anti-war song, but it's also about the war on the environment and how we're fighting a losing battle if we don't arm up. So you can say it's heavy-handed. I don't think so. I think some things are worth being very open about, just like Living with War in 2006. A lot of people said that album was disgraceful and burnt their copies and blah 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 after buying their concert tickets. But to me, some things are just important enough to be devoid of metaphor, and you should just be speaking plainly about them. And Neil does that throughout this album about the environment. So we're not protesting George W. Bush and Tony Blair's invasion of Iraq here. We're protesting the environment, which is a different kind of war, and one that really doesn't have an enemy that we can see. Well, it does if you take into account the corporations and whatnot. But again, these themes if you're a Neil Young fan. But again, it's nice to have them. Nice to have another anthem for it. So I'd say that's my favourite track on the record. I Walk With You, Earth ringtone. This Old Planet, Changing Days, lovely piano ballad again. It's lighter than you'd think, this album. In places, with accordion from Nils. Nils is a great accordion player if you've ever seen him play with the E Street Band. He usually comes out to play the accordion with a song from wherever they're playing that night. And it's a kind of jaunty palate cleanser that we maybe needed after the over-the-top message and music of the previous track. But you're not alone on this old planet. Very much a kind of double meaning. You're not alone, so don't be afraid, we can do it together. But also, you're not alone, so it's not yours to wreck. A kind of like that. There's a lot going on here that I think, it's not just a hippie dream, to quote an old Neil song. It's not just that. It really is a call to arms. And anybody who's been following Neil should really know that by now. This is very much his deal. This world is in trouble now, in parentheses. The accordion stays on, but here it's been put through a distortion pedal. So cool. So you get Neil's playing a really ragged accordion in this one rather than the traditional accordion they played on the previous track. And Neil almost does a rap on top where he's not paying attention to the melody and the music at all. He's just spitting out lyrics. And I don't mean hip hop, but he's rapping in the more traditional sense. Not worried about the melody whatsoever. Very moody chorus with the horse doing backing vocals on a very low and growly way. So this isn't one of the more upbeat call and response tracks. Kind of bluesy actually. One of the bluesier tracks on the album. Break the Chain is one that came out a few weeks ago as one of the pre-advanced tracks that you could watch that. The guitar is filthy. It's absolutely brilliant. It's filthy on that, even for Crazy Horse. Cool backing vocals from them, and lots of really cool dobro work again from Niels Lofgren. I keep saying his full name because I don't want you to think I'm mixing up Neil and Niels. And he's got some great lines in this as well for refer to it. Let's see, Break the Chain. It's like I'm dancing, but am I dancing with death? I'm gonna stay home in eternity. I don't know. Something quite deep about this stuff. This is there's a quite macabre sense to this track, which there is on a couple of these tracks, where Neil kind of sings about, if we don't take it seriously, this is your last chance. So, may as well sing about the afterlife, because that's all we'll be seeing if we don't take this stuff seriously now. Wow. It's a really cool track. That's one of the singles you can watch in studio. So you can YouTube that if you like. I don't know why I said YouTube in a disparaging voice. That's literally what I'm sitting here making this video. The Long Day Before is another accordion led track, with very slow pacing. It's not even in waltz time, I think it's in 2/4 time. It's got drum brushes that you can hear very distinctly. Very hymn-like. Quite a melancholy and sad track about, again, how so many are just ignoring what we're seeing in the world. Some lovely backing vocals that aren't trying to be distorted or anything, but it's really quite downbeat. On the TV, in the newscast, they're never going to talk about, on the front page of the internet, you're never going to see about the big thing in the room that's happening right now. Yeah, you will see it. We've seen coverage of COP27 in the past few days, but until China and India in particular are convinced to go along with these ideas, they make up so much of the world's population that it's, again, to quote a line from On the Beach, pissing in the wind, really. People swear it's a conspiracy, a dirty trick to get you and me into believing something that's real. So it also addresses the conspiracy theorists around climate change, as if, electric cars is all a Ponzi scheme of some sort. I mean, don't get me wrong, Elon Musk's a total twat, but electric cars are the future. Walking on the road to the future, funnily enough, to the future in parentheses. No more war, only love. And again, with all being sung, takes us back to the Earth ringtone earlier on. Very subdued. Quite pretty. The pump organ's back. The accordion's still here. There's some more plaintive harmonica. rather than the distorted harmonica we've had elsewhere on the album. So again, a lot of Neil's playing accordion on this to go along with the guitar playing, or the pump organ, or the kind of upright piano. A lot of Neil's playing either dobro or accordion, which gives it a very different feel from a lot of Crazy Horse albums, because Poncho wasn't much for the accordion or the the dobro. The Wonder Won't Wait starts with Neil shouting, "Give me a big count, Ralphie," which is just great. Nice shout out to Ralph Talbot right at the start. Even more accordion. But this one's a higher tempo. It's quite a fast shuffle, with some heavy guitar stings, but they never take over the track. Again, quite macabre in places. I forget the lyric I was thinking of. Take some time to live before you die. There's something big happening, and it's part of you. You've got to stand outside yourself. Get outside your own head so you can see what you can do. You've got to stand outside yourself. Take some time to live before you die, because the wonder won't wait. The wonder won't wait for you to stand outside yourself. Ooh, gives me chills. Yup. The next track, Chevrolet, is one that Neil admits felt like came from a different session, and he almost didn't include it, or if he did, it didn't feel like it was ever really part of the same thought process, the same brainstorming session that came to him. And it's what some people are probably waiting on. It's the 15-minute Crazy Horse workout, but it's not your traditional 15-minute Crazy Horse epic. It's not like a Hurricane. It's not Cortez the Killer. It's not Cowgirl. You know, it's not any of these. It's not any of the big workouts. It's not Furious. But it is. I mean, it is soaked in guitars and distortion. There's no other way you can really do a Crazy Horse epic like that. For some Neil fans, that's all they need is the guitar and the distortion, and they're happy if it's Crazy Horse and they're playing for 15 minutes. But there's actually some really tasty playing from the duo guitars with Neil and Nils, and some lovely licks going on. So it's actually less of the ragged and more of the glory in Crazy Horse terms. And again, even this has got some terrific lyrics, but it feels more like something that you might have got on Fork in the Road from 2009. Gone's a crowded highway, lost are the roads we left behind, found in the place they live inside me, Chevrolet. What a curve, what a way to go. We took it fast before we took it slow. It feels so good rolling the window down, ivory wheel in my hands again. It's a celebration of Neil's love of cars. No other way to put it, really. So again, it does come very much from that other side of Neil, from the Fork in the Road and his book, what was that called? Something special, special deluxe, something like that, which was all about restoring cars and whatnot. So it does feel like it's from a different record, but that's kind of cool too, in a way. That's kind of cool too, that even in the middle of a very concept-light record, or thematic record, I think more aptly, Neil can throw in something else and just say, it works, sounds okay to me. But then, just to bring us back on track, we have a reprise of This Old Planet, Earth Ringtone, but this time it's played on a Wurlitzer, which is really cool. Very dreamlike, quiet, keyboard-like version of this track. And being that was my favourite track in the record, lovely to go out on that. So you don't go out in a track that's completely antithetical to the rest of the records. It does pull you back in. So hey, maybe Chevrolet does fit in, and it's saying, look, we can find a way to fit in the things we can enjoy if we work on the world first. So maybe it does all come together. I don't know. Just one man's opinion, as always. But listen, I really appreciate your time. We will be back talking Neil quite soon, because we have the Harvest box set coming out, and I'm going to see the film on the big screen, which I'm looking forward to. The unreleased film from the period, which should be fun. So until then, folks, thank you very much for watching. Be very safe out there, and love and mercy to you and your friends tonight. Cheerio.